No matter which one fits your lifestyle, you'll love the comfort, performance, and safety. Stop by Terry Volkswagen on Forest Road in Lynchburg or check us out online at terrybw.com. Terry Volkswagen. You'll love our cars.
Hey, small to medium business owners, if you're frustrated with slow IT support, high costs, or paying for services you just don't use, it's time for a change. Hi, I'm Colt with We Fix Stupid Computers. We provide reliable on-site and remote support tailored for businesses just like yours. And we go beyond just fixing problems. We empower your staff with real tech knowledge so they can work smarter every day. From repairs to training to full IT support, we save you time, stress, and money. Call We Fix Stupid Computers, 434-525-8590, where smart support meets real savings.
Are you tired of static? Wish you could take your favorite Virginia radio stations with you wherever you go? Then you need to discover the power of streaming. That's right. You can now easily listen to the Virginia Talk Radio Network for insightful discussions and local news.
From the VTRN News Center, I'm Bill Trefiro.
And groove to classic hits on Rewind 1039. All from your smartphone, tablet, or computer. No more fiddling with the dial. Just download your favorite radio app, search for Virginia Talk Radio Network or Rewind 1039, and you're ready to go. Stay connected with your community.
Good morning. This is Kimberly McBroom in the WDBJ 7 newsroom with our Virginia Talk Radio Network news update.
And enjoy the music you love anytime, anywhere. Streaming the Virginia Talk Radio Network and Rewind 1039. It's that easy. Virginia Talk Radio Network, Rewind 1039. Now streaming.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app, 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
Well, you knew this one was coming if you've been following social media for the last hour, or to get my usher on, I have not been one who has followed the Olympics a ton, but it is time to take a detour.
Time to take a detour in the Fast Lane.
And to let a play-by-play broadcaster that is vastly superior to anything I have done. No offense to you, TJ, or to our 5:05 p.m. guest, Bob Alvis, who are much superior play-by-play broadcasters and more well-seasoned in multiple sports. I would say one of the more underrated ones. He's not Doc Emmerich, but Kenny Albert has done a better job ascending as a hockey play-by-play broadcaster, and he has been, well, appropriately gold this Olympics. And here we go.
The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero, the United States wins gold in Milan.
Again, to get my usher on for a moment in the fast lane, it's touch and go with the Winter Olympics for me more than the summer because we're in basketball season. High school hoops, more on that with Bob Alvis in a moment. College basketball, we touched on that yesterday. John Manson, ACofRed.com, Randolph Childress on the ACC. But that was fantastic. The gold medal, Canada and U.S., it's what, the 8th consecutive year they've met for the gold? It is a legitimate rivalry. It delivers. There's fervor between the two sides. And it was just really cool to see. And I'm not one who's going to say this is going to elevate women's hockey, but I think all of these good moments are not just in the belt for women's sports. And that's what's really cool.
Yes, I hate that I had to miss it because of a job outside of here, but gosh, I love hockey during the Winter Olympics. It's so fun watching the U.S. and Canada go at it. It always seems to be those two fighting for the gold. So before I let you go, Ed, all I got to say is USA, USA.
Or Kenny Albert with the gold call. And he did a good job of not going all hamming it out on it. The ability to weave in the nifty move, like that's really next level play-by-play. I think I've done it once or twice when, like, I don't know if you've done this. I see a player break off a run, and it has to be someone that you know has big speed. Like when, for example, JF played at Varina, and Dysere Carter, who's the UVA commit, is getting a bead. You can call the touchdown before it's a touchdown because he's UVA commit. And sorry to Gabe Barnett and Xander Coleman, who are great athletes in their own right, but you see the UVA come in, you're like, okay, this is why this guy's going to UVA. Or like, honestly, again, Xander Coleman's a great example. He's had plays where he's the fastest guy on JF's team this past year, just raw athletic ability, and he'll turn the corner and hit the open field. And I could go, uh-oh, because you can see he has a different gear that no one really else has unless you're going to UVA. And that's when it's really cool. And to weave that into play-by-play, like I don't do it very well, but Kenny Albert did it masterfully there. Masterfully. And it was fantastic. One other quick nugget as well. Virginia. That win last night, that's the type of performance you like to see. They've gone on the road to Notre Dame and needed overtime. I think double overtime, actually.
Yeah, it was double.
Double overtime. Boston College, when you and I were watching the game along with Trey at Ty's birthday party. Sorry, Ty, but to get our usher on and confess, we were kind of watching the game.
He was with his family. We had to do something.
Yeah, he was. We like his family and friends and everything, but Ty's the center of attention, so we're a distracted generation, we should say. So anyway, we're watching that, and they barely beat Boston College that day. And so you're wanting to see, if you're Virginia, a take care of business approach. 59-27 at halftime at Georgia Tech last night. That's take care of business because we're judging them relative to playing the bottom feeders in the conference, and that's a big thing.
It's a big win. It's a big win, and they had to win it by a large margin to make the voters, the fans, feel a little more comfortable heading into Miami.
Yes, indeed. That's a big thing for them. Meanwhile, we pivot over here in the fast lane and get ready to welcome in our next guest from the Sports Buffet podcast. By the way, I need to ask for forgiveness.
Forgiveness is more than saying sorry.
From Matt Klein, the head basketball coach, boys basketball at LCA, because he brought up the point on social media about Bob Alvis's article for the Sports Buffet podcast. Are kids different? And this is such a good topic. I want to get to it in the offseason. So sorry, Matt. I know you were teasing it on social media. I really appreciate that and really appreciate your love and support for the work that Bob does, the work that we do here in the fast lane. It's not on Bob's level, as well as Bryson Gordon and Trey Lyle in the morning warm-up. BG was on with Trey yesterday. But we want to focus on high school hoops today. Tyler Meeks to LCA football. That's going to wait as well. We've got an entire offseason to get to that. And for the sake of time, because we have a shorter edition of the show today, we're doing all that. Hopefully you followed all that, Bob, first of all, on the fast lane. Second of all, are you okay if we pivot off of that great article? Because we want to really delve into it. And, well, region basketball hoops is a big story, and that's more immediate. And in a couple of months, it's going to be harder to discuss previewing games that just took place.
It's your world, Ed. I'm just living in it.
Well, I am honored that you would say something so kind and generous. BG, by the way, Bryson Gordon, does have articles up at newsadvance.com on previewing the region's 4D, 3C, 2C, and 1B boys and girls basketball action. Those are 8 different regions collectively for boys and girls basketball in the high school hoops playoffs. Out of that bunch, are you still of the belief that Region 2C boys, featuring Nelson County, Gretna, Dan River, Liberty, among others, is the most loaded and unpredictable of those?
I sure am. I mean, the semifinals are at Franklin County next week. I'm looking forward to it, but you've got 4 good quarterfinals happening on Friday, and yeah, let's buckle up and get going.
It's a lot of fun for that. There's certain regions where, anything can happen because teams play to their level. Is Region 2C different, though, where anything happened because this is the highest level in terms of top to bottom basketball for a region, at least in our area?
There are some very good teams. There are some very good players in Region 2C. Every game could be a coin flip, so to speak. I think there are a lot of stories and names we're going to find out through the region tournament play. But Region 2C is loaded. And I'll tell you what, when you have a 4-5 game that's Dan River and Nelson County, that should tell you all that you need to know. Nelson County is a very good basketball team. Dan River is a very good basketball team, and they're the 4th and 5th seeds. So that should tell you how good 1, 2, and 3 are.
Yeah, I mean, it is really good in that region. I get why Martinsville is probably a lot of people's favorites. They've got really good athleticism, but the other thing about that region, Bob, they're not only good, but there's so many different styles in Region 2C.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you could have one style one night, and you could have a totally different style the other night. Floyd County's in there. They are a very, very well-coached team with Brian Harmon. They've got some very, very good players. They could match up with Martinsville in the semis, but Martinsville's got to get past Gretna, and Floyd's got to get past Radford, which is not easy task, to say the least. And I don't know of one game that I would say is a slam dunk to mark and pin on the bracket.
No, needless to say, that's the case. Sticking with boys basketball with Bob Alvis of the Sports Buffet podcast, who is with us here in the Fast Lane. We're talking high school hoops and region action right now. Region 1B, which is where Alta Vista's boys reside. Region 3C, where LCA and Rustburg reside, as well as Heritage. Out of that collection of teams right there, do you have a favorite that you believe is best equipped to make a run, whether it's Alta Vista in 1 or LCA in Region 3C, or is this as open as it's been as well?
I think it's pretty open. I mean, Alta Vista is going to go on the road in the first round to Rappahannock. Alta Vista has a very, very good chance because Casey Johnson's a very excellent coach. And the farther down you go in levels, sometimes you're seeing more athleticism in the regular season and maybe less in the postseason. So that could actually help you in certain cases. I'm not saying it will help Alta Vista. It could. LCA and Rustburg, these two teams split throughout the season. The winner will go to Turner Ashby in the second round. I think it's pretty well open because you've got some good teams in 3 as well with Wilson Memorial hovering in there. Rocktown's hovering in there. Stanton is hovering in there. There are a lot of good teams in 3. Oh, yeah, Western Albemarle. Let me not forget about them, too. So there are a lot of good teams in 3 that could provide some problems for one another. Because I think the thing about it is once you get out of your region, it should be easier in a way, but it's not because then you got to go to the state tournament.
Bob Alvis of the Sports Buffet podcast with us here in the Fast Lane, pivoting up to Region 4D. EC Glass, are they the prohibitive favorites in that region as you would expect a team with an undefeated record to be?
I went to EC Glass yesterday and I talked to DJ Best and Gavin Arthur. And one thing I asked Coach Best was, do you want to play a team that you've already seen? He's like, if we've already seen them once, let's run it back. Twice, I don't know because I don't want to see a team for the third time. That could definitely happen if JF beats Halifax in the first round. Salem is a very good team. GW Danville is a very good team. Only one of those can win and play at Glass if chalk holds. I hate to say somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. If chalk holds, Glass has it throughout in terms of at least the regional, and then they could match up. What happens in 4 is they cross with North and South. So North plays their own region, South plays their own region, and then at the end, the 2 cross, and both those teams advance to the state with the loser going on the road, the winner getting a home game. It's matched out pretty well for EC Glass, but it was matched out pretty well for Josh Allen too. How'd that work out?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for rubbing salt in the wounds to our Buffalo Bill fans that are out there. They'll be real fans of Bob Alvis of the Sports Buffet podcast after that reference. Bob, is Jefferson Forest on boys basketball the proverbial team whose record doesn't indicate how talented they are because of the volume of players that came over from the lengthy football season run and the slow start to their season integrating them?
I believe if you are used to winning down the stretch, then you've got something that you can't teach. Now, are any of these games going to put Dr. Naismith in a rah-rah stance? Probably not. But you know what? The scoreboard doesn't have pictures, and the scoreboard has just said Jefferson Forest has one more point than the other team for the last few. So JF is a hot team in terms of, I don't want to say they're winning ugly. They're winning. That's the point. It doesn't matter if you win ugly, pretty, in between. You're winning.
That's the big thing. Meanwhile, girls basketball, we pivot over to that side. Is the team in whom you have the most confidence? I know I'm not going on a limb here, but is it the LCA girls in Region 3C?
They're pretty good. They are pretty good. The one thing that they do a lot is they shoot outside, and the old adage, live by the 3, die by the 3. I would hate to see them die the death, but they are a very good team. They're very well-rounded with Rivard, Redgate, and so forth. They've got a very good coach on the sidelines. You're not going to really do a lot of things that Paul Redgate maybe hasn't seen in his life before. But at the same time, this is why we play the games. I hate to be cliche like that.
Meanwhile, last one for you, and Bob Alvis of the Sports Buffet podcast is with us in the Fast Lane. Of the other girls basketball, whether it's Glass and JF at the top, whether it's a team like Stanton River or Liberty right further down in terms of the school size, is there a one out there that, because LCA, justifiably great season they've had in girls hoops, have gotten a lot of the oxygen for girls basketball. Is there another one that we should not be sleeping on and not be surprised if they also make a deep run?
Appomattox and Herb Daniel. Coach Daniel has a lot of energy. I just did an interview with him last night and posted it on the podcast site. I tweeted it out. Liberty's got Shania Brown. She's just going to be really hard to move, but Chatham is really good as that number 1 seed. So it's really a case of where you're almost you're blocked with talent, so to speak, when you get deep. So everybody is good, and that hurts the 2s and the 3s because the 1's just as good, sometimes if not better. And they've got home court, by the way.
I love that selection of Appomattox because of how much people would have answered that. Now, I would have myself to get my usher on for a moment. With either Stanton River or Liberty, that's a great call by Appomattox girls basketball, Bob. So we're going to hold you to it and see if it comes to fruition. No pressure on the girls, just on you, Bob, since you're the one who made the pick.
By the way, I'm posting an interview with Matt Klein in just a few moments, so we should have him happy for a while.
Yes, indeed. That warms my heart, Bob. We're happy to have you. Thank you for joining us today in the Fast Lane.
Always appreciate it.
Bob Alvis of the Sports Night Podcast with us in the Fast Lane. When we return, NASCAR will pivot off of that, building off the momentum of Michael Jordan in Victory Lane and all the attention. Michael Massie of Frontstretch.com will be on the call for Frontstretch.com down in Atlanta this coming weekend, and he'll join us next.
Looking for the perfect start to your day or an afternoon pick-me-up? Swing by Buttercup and Friends Cafe, your friendly Boonesboro Road food truck. From craft lattes with house-made simple syrups to sweet treats and comforting bites, there's something for you. It's the perfect spot to grab something delicious and bring a friend, your appetite, and come see why people are coming back to Buttercup and Friends Cafe, 6103 Boonesboro Road, across from the BP gas station in Lynchburg. Open 7:30 to 3:30, Monday through Saturday.
Is it time for a new place to call home? Moving out on your own? Perhaps your existing lease is up for renewal. Looking for a new roommate? Or maybe you just need a change of scenery. Then you need to check out brownstoneproperties.com. We have Central Virginia's largest selection of apartments, townhomes, and single-family homes. Applying is easy with our online application. Visit us online to begin your search at brownstoneproperties.com.
Whether you're facing a tough season or looking for support to overcome life's obstacles, Central Virginia Counseling is here for you. Central Virginia Counseling is accepting new clients at both Lynchburg locations on Wigington Road and Timberlake Road. And telehealth is available anywhere in Virginia. Serving children, teens, and adults, our counselors are equipped with diverse skill sets to help you on your journey. For more information, visit us at centralvirginiacounseling.com.
At the Farmers Bank of Appomattox, we believe personal banking should be as rooted in the community as you are. Whether managing your business banking, saving for your family's dream home, or juggling daily expenses with our mobile app, we offer tailored solutions with a local touch. Experience the security of a bank that knows your name and the convenience of modern technology. Visit us today to grow your financial future right here at home. The Farmers Bank of Appomattox, your community, your bank, your future.
A cool food concept sparks curiosity. What about two concepts at one restaurant? That's even better. Oliver's on Rivermont is Lynchburg's first multi-concept restaurant. Pick items from the traditional Oliver's menu, the 801 Raw Bar menu, or mix and match. And you'll appreciate the consistency of Oliver's new kitchen and serving staff. Two cool concepts in one. Only available at Oliver's on Rivermont.
Here we grow again at the Sheeler Motor Mile. It's here, the all-new Motor Mile Chevrolet and Buick in Radford. More brands, more selection, and the same exceptional service you expect from a trusted community partner. Whether you're shopping Chevrolet or Buick, you'll find quality, value, and a team that puts you first. From rugged trucks and SUVs to stylish cars and family-friendly vehicles, the Motor Mile has something for everyone. With straightforward pricing and top dollar for your trade, there's no better place to buy. Bring us your trade, newer, older, paid off or not, and see why your car is worth more on the Motor Mile. Plus, with more inventory arriving daily, now is the time to shop the Motor Mile. Sheeler owns the finance company and makes getting approved for credit simple and easy on the Motor Mile. Flexible financing options for every budget to get you on the road fast. Experience the Motor Mile at 3 convenient locations: Christiansburg, Radford, and Pulaski. For over 50 years, we've got Southwest Virginia covered. The all-new Motor Mile Chevrolet and Buick in Radford. Certified friendly staff. No games, no gimmicks. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at MotorMilesChevroletBuick.com.
What side of the fence we're on involving who we believe is a real contender?
Well, somehow that got jumped without a rejoin, so no worries. That's what we do in the fast lane. We just come back organically. We're not really sure what happened. Technical difficulties. We'll blame it on that. And we are glad to go from our friends at Sheeler Motor Mile into a guy that might be using a vehicle that you could get at Sheeler Motor Mile. I'm convinced that if the vehicle exists, it's there because they have over 1,000 when you combine new and pre-owned vehicles at Sheeler Motor Mile, Sheeler.com to shop 24/7. Michael Massie, Frontstretch.com, with us here in the Fast Lane. Michael, great to be speaking with you. We appreciate you doing this by a phone so that we don't have to encourage anybody to use the services of our friends at TrostLaw.com, although if you are in an accident, they are here to help at 777-HURT and TrostLaw.com. Michael, NASCAR heading to Atlanta. How much momentum are they carrying with them from the ratings being up over last year, 7.5 million viewers for the Daytona 500, even though it was moved up for an hour? And of course, the buzz afterwards of, sorry to Trey Lyle, not really, but the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, celebrating in victory lane and getting them a lot of national attention as well.
Hey, Ed, I'm actually headed to Atlanta right now, so forgive me if you hear traffic noises or trying to survive the rain out here. It's a little wet. You guys are probably getting it as well.
Oh, we are.
Pittsburgh, but
we are.
Yeah. So, well, first off, when you said the greatest basketball player of all time, I'm like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar doesn't own a race team. What are you talking about? MJ being there in victory lane was huge. I think even if the ratings weren't what they were, an increase, which is great. I think that all the buzz from the great finish, Michael Jordan in victory lane, just everything that, all the positivity, the chase being back, the lawsuit being over, like so much good stuff came out of the Daytona 500 that I think the ratings for Atlanta would be up regardless, even if they were down for the Daytona 500, but they weren't, they were up. So I look for this to be kind of a little bit of a bounce back year for NASCAR. It just kind of feels that way. Everything feels like there's more buzz, like I said, more positivity. So I don't know, maybe something will, cloud will drop out of the sky or something out of nowhere. But right now, all things are sunny.
It is. It's so true. And your colleague, Tom Bowles of Frontstretch.com, brought this point up in his Did You Notice article yesterday at Frontstretch.com. We know about Chase Elliott being the most popular driver in NASCAR now. We know about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and what he has done to keep NASCAR fans on board despite not liking a lot of the direction of the sport, and he deserves his own Medal of Honor and Appreciation for that. Dale Jr. does. But is Michael Jordan the type of figure that can take the popularity to an entirely different level because his celebrity and brand cachet is on a different level as well?
Yeah, I think for sure he's more famous than even the Earnhardt. I know that's crazy to say, but yeah, he's known worldwide. And I think part of it as well is that, Dale Sr.'s been gone for 25 years. Fox Sports released a great documentary the other day on it that I highly recommend. Dale Jr. has been retired for 9 years now. I know he's an owner in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, but outside the Daytona 500, you don't see him as a car owner in the Cup Series. So these figures, these massive figures for NASCAR from the past, they're just not at the forefront. You don't see their faces, or they're not around anymore. Whereas Michael Jordan is an active team owner. He's there. I mean, he's at way more races than I think anybody gives him credit for. There's a lot of times where I think he kind of hides in the background. Understandably, he gets mobbed whenever he does show his face. But yeah, I think having a figure like that, so front and center, so active in the sport right now, is, you could argue, it might be like the biggest person to be advocating for NASCAR since like Burt Reynolds, maybe. And even then, Burt Reynolds wasn't like there all the time. I think he just owned the team, and they just did their own thing while he's out in Hollywood. MJ's actually there doing stuff. So Yeah, I think this is a really good thing for NASCAR.
And here's the other thing, Michael, and I could be off on this. I've been at races, though, with Michael Jordan. Obviously, you have for Frontstretch.com, as I've been repping the Fast Lane and Virginia Talk Radio Network at these races. Michael seems to genuinely care about this. It's not the cursory appearance for clicks and scrolls. This guy seems to genuinely care about success, being there, and knows his stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a fan. He'll tell you he grew up going to races with his father, going to Darlington, Charlotte, Talladega. So NASCAR is nothing new for him. It's just he finally found his way in. It took a while, but he finally, in his 60s, became part of NASCAR. And he's up there in the pit box. You've heard that he's talking to the crew chiefs and stuff, asking them about the strategies. Could you imagine Billy Scott, Tyler Reddick's crew chief, that they won the Daytona 500 this week? Billy Scott sitting up there trying to make these calls of when to pit and stuff, and Michael Jordan sitting behind you, just analyzing your every move. That's gotta be an extra layer of intimidation when you're a crew chief at 2311. But it paid off, and they got the win on Sunday.
No doubt about it. Michael Massie with us here in the Fast Lane. Michael, speaking of things with NASCAR and turning over a new leaf, your colleague, Mike Neff of Frontstretch.com, of course, had to get skeptical and grumpy with us once again about the new NASCAR being just a week old. So I'll kind of piggyback off that, but in a different direction, given the news that broke this afternoon that Joe Gibbs Racing is filing a suit against their former competition director, Chris Gabehard, alleging that Gabehard was basically going to try to steal sensitive information and give it to Spire Motorsports, a direct competitor in NASCAR. Are lawsuits the new NASCAR as well?
Yeah, this thing, I know the comments and stuff are automatically, NASCAR is back, NASCAR season 2. But this is a thing that you see this kind of stuff in pro sports all the time. I mean, I remember it was probably 13 years ago where the St. Louis Cardinals stole information from the Houston Astros, I want to say it was. And this is part of the competition. A team is gonna try to hire people away from a team to get their secrets. It happened. I mean, it's happened forever in NASCAR. It's just now I think it's such a business. All these teams have lawyers and stuff. You actually see they're gonna probably go to court about this. I don't know all the details yet. It broke as I was getting ready to leave for Atlanta. Who knows what's actually accurate? It's kind of a he said, she said so far. But it's not looking good for Chris Gabehart. And it's too bad because he was a huge figure over there at Joe Gibbs Racing and was really big in revitalizing Denny Hamlin's career. Denny had gone winless the year before they got paired up, and then he had this second stint of his career that was awesome. And he got JGR, he had 2 cars in the championship 4 last year. So it's just really weird how it all just kind of fell apart somewhere now. You definitely won't see him back in the doors of that race team anytime soon, at least. So, yeah, just another thing to watch. But I don't think it'll impact NASCAR overall.
And, of course, we need to obviously note that Michael Massie is not as up on the story because he's not trying to read and drive because he doesn't want anybody to get injured in an accident and have to use the services of our friends at Trost Law and call 434-777-HURT. We'll wrap it up on this because we do have to get to Virginia Tech women's basketball. They got a big one against Carolina tonight, and we'll be doing that a little bit late. Sorry to our friend Evan Hughes on the pregame show call for that one. But, Michael, the question for you being NASCAR going to Atlanta this weekend. The new NASCAR, does that mean Atlanta produces the best of the tapered spacer version of racing? And if there's weather in the area, does NASCAR continue with their new thing of moving the start time up to make sure that fans actually get to see the full race like they did Daytona?
Yeah, the second part, I hope you're right. I hope that because there could be a little weather in the area this weekend. NASCAR comes to town, there's going to be weather. I hope they continue that trend because it worked out really nicely at Daytona, like you said. So fingers crossed that, if there is a window where we can jump up to the start time and avoid it, then let's do it. I don't want to still be there watching racing on Monday. To your other point, what was the first part?
Yeah, is Atlanta going to be the most entertaining of these tapered spacer races?
Yeah. So the thing is, the Daytona there's been a lot of complaints about Daytona Talladega right now because of it's really hard to pass. So you get this fuel saving game. Atlanta, you're not going to see that, and that's what makes it awesome. Is that handling plays such a bigger factor. People actually have to lift in these corners. And as this track is aging, it's aging fast. It's going to get more and more difficult for just, to handle and to go all out on it. So whoever can take care of their car, yes, you'll have this insane run. And it's really fun to watch. But you don't have the gridlock that Daytona Talladega have. So, yeah, it is becoming one of the best tracks in NASCAR. It's up there with, Kansas, Charlotte. I definitely put it in the top 5. It's making a case for the best, though. We'll see how this weekend plays out.
Can't wait to see it. Michael Massie of Frontstretch.com will be there covering it as well. Michael, thank you for your time. We encourage you to drive safely. Keep your eyes on the road so no one has to call Trost Law.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on, Ed, and go Hokies.
Yes, Michael Massie sends that message as we send you to the pregame show for the big one between Carolina and Tech, as that comes your way next right now on the VTR and Sports app, and ask that smart speaker, open VTR and Sports.
It is game number 28 of the 2025-26 Virginia Tech women's basketball season. With that, I tell you to turn your radio dials and speakers up loud and clear, as it gives me great pride and joy to say the Virginia Tech Hokies are on the air